Jonas Vingegaard knows he's facing one of the best of all time in cycling in Tadej Pogačar, and the best cyclist of this era if he wants to win his third Tour de France title. And of course, the race starts this Saturday, here in Lille in northern France. You can catch all the action live and on demand for our viewers in Canada. Make sure you don't miss out on a second of the action on any of the 21 stages. Sign up in the link down below. I know that if I want to win the Tour de France, I have to beat Tadej, and I know he's probably one of the best in history. Vingegaard said in a recent interview, to do that, you have to train every day. Of course, when I go out every day, I focus more on myself. I focus on how to reach the best possible level. But yes, I also know that, in general, if I want to win the Tour de France, I have to beat him too. A dominant Slovenian superstar, Tadej Pogačar, cleaned house in the 2024 Tour de France. En route to his third title, he won 6 stages, smashed everybody, and that was on the heels of his Giro d'Italia win. He went on later into 2024 to claim the World Championship title in Zurich. This year, well, it's been more of the same in 2025. His first race, the home tour for the team, the UAE Tour, he won the overall. Then a series of one-day races from Strade Bianche to Liège-Bastogne-Liège, winning nearly every one of them, including his second Tour of Flanders title. His only regrets, well, he fell short in Milano-San Remo and in Paris-Roubaix, but podiumed in both races. Then he matched up again for the first time in 2025 with Jonas Vingegaard at the Criterium du Dauphiné. There, well, it was more of the same, more of the dominant Tadej Pogačar. Jonas put up a fight in the time trial, but in all the other stages, Tadej was on top. Last year, of course, going into the Tour de France, Jonas Vingegaard was in a race to get form. He, of course, had that nasty crash in the Tour of the Basque Country that knocked him out. His first race back, well, that was the Tour de France when it began in Florence, Italy. In 2025, he doesn't have that same sort of setback, but remember, he did crash in Paris-Nice, and that forced him to abandon the race. His teammate, Matteo Jorgensen, went on to win the race overall. His first race back after that crash was the Criterium du Dauphiné, and we know how that played out with his second place overall to the dominant Tadej Pogačar. Vingegaard continued, I think he'll be better than ever at the Tour de France, so obviously I have to be better than ever too. I think overall my engine is growing. I feel like I'm improving in every aspect. We're focusing on improving both in the sprint and in threshold and peak power. So, as I said before, I feel I'm improving in every aspect. Let's look at the teams, because Jumbo-Visma, well, they were once the dominant team in cycling, and they're still at the top, don't get me wrong. UAE team, well, I think they've taken over that position. Let's look at the UAE team first. Now, they got Tim Wellens in the mix, who's just been running strong all spring and into the Tour de France, just claimed the Belgian National Road title. They got João Almeida, who just won the overall in the Tour of Swiss, and Adam Yates, who was there in the Giro d'Italia for 3 weeks, helping out Isaac Del Toro, who maybe wasn't always at his best, Adam, but he's there when it counts, and he's there in the high mountains as that key climbing domestique. And then throw in other riders like Nils Pollitt that'll guide Tadej through the flat stages of northern France, where we're here now, which will be crucial in the first week. Again, when we're starting the race from here in the north in Lille, and then we're heading out to the northwest towards Brittany. It's going to be rough and tough for those first few days, elbows out, corners left and right, and all sorts of small climbs. Now over to Jumbo-Visma. Visma Lisa Bike, let's call them. That's the team name for a couple of years now, excuse me. Visma Lisa Bike, well, they have Simon Yates, who just came off of winning the Giro d'Italia. Congratulations, Simon. That was an excellent show, especially in that final mountain day over the Finestre, delivering the blow to Carapaz and Del Toro. Matteo Jorgensen, what an engine. As we mentioned before, won Paris-Nice earlier this year and should be a protected rider along beside Jonas Vingegaard if he's going to try to get up to the podium perhaps in this year's Tour de France. Then Sepp Kuss, the American Eagle, the Eagle of Durango, but frankly hasn't been as good since when he last won the Vuelta a España. Since then, last year the Tour de France, he was out due to COVID. This year he's getting back to better form, and we saw glimpses of that at the Dauphiné. Those will be the 3 strong helpers around Jonas when we're up in the mountains. And oh yeah, how can we forget Wout van Aert, who frankly can do a bit of everything when asked for and called upon from the team. Now sure, Tadej Pogačar looks untouchable as he races towards his 4th Tour de France title. But be careful, because the Tour de France can throw all sorts of curveballs at you. Remember, we thought Chris Froome was going to dominate the Tour de France forever? Well, he could never win again after his 4th title. And then we've seen other disasters strike other champions in the past, so you never know what's around the corner. And if anybody can knock Tadej Pogačar off the top step, was Jonas Vingegaard, 2-time Tour de France champion, winner of the Volta Algarve earlier this season. So tune in starting Saturday when we depart from here in Lille for 3 weeks of racing all around France, the 2025 Tour de France.